Um, Good morning. I'm Eric Schneiderman, and I'm joined here today by Janet Sable, my Executive Deputy Attorney General for Social Justice, John Sipos, the Environmental Protection Bureau Litigation Chief, and Janice Dean, who's the Chief of our Toxins and Cost Recovery Section, as well as some of the other attorneys who've been working on these issues in our office. And I'm here today really in my capacity as the state's top law enforcement official to announce that we are filing a legal proceeding challenging the Nuclear Regulatory Commission's determination relating to the storage of nuclear waste. This is a particularly significant issue here in Westchester, where we have, because of geography and because of technology, perhaps the most dangerous facility in the country. But it's also important all across America. There are 120 or so reactors, thousands of tons of nuclear waste generated every year in the United States. And we are challenging an NRC decision today that essentially says they can just push off the issue of what to do about nuclear waste far, far into the future without even conducting an environmental impact study, without analyzing the effects on the communities around the facilities. The NRC has made a determination and issued what's called a final rule that essentially we're going to put off the issue of where we store nuclear waste and make the communities that have the reactors hold that waste for decades into the future. And we understand that this is not an easy problem to solve, but it certainly needs to have a full environmental impact study before such a determination is made. So I'm filing a petition today, joined by the Attorneys General of Vermont and Connecticut, demanding that the Nuclear Regulatory Commission conduct a full environmental impact study before it issues a final rule on this issue. This is a particularly sensitive point here in Westchester because of Indian Point, and really in the entire area around Indian Point, extending into Connecticut, into New York City, into New Jersey, because this ruling would require waste storage here in the pools that hold the waste short term and in the nuclear bunkers that hold the waste longer term, far into the future. The rule currently is that there's a 30-year limit on the storage of waste on site, and this rule would extend it to 60 years after the closing of a plant. So that means, even if the plant was to operate decades into the future, 60 years after that, the waste could be stored in this community. We must insist that the federal government take the proper action to deal with this issue on a long-term basis. We must insist this has an effect on property values. This has an effect on the security of our communities, and we are filing this with the confidence that the federal district court is going to agree with us and order a full study before before such a rule is adopted. So nuclear energy is a contentious issue. This is not a case about the relicensing of Indian Point. This is a case addressing a broader national issue of what we do with the nuclear waste, because quite frankly, if you are a supporter of nuclear energy or an opponent of nuclear energy, you have to deal with the waste issue, and I would suggest that supporters of nuclear energy really are under more pressure to deal with this, because this is one issue that is just looming over this entire industry and will until we deal with the question of how to safely and securely store the waste from Indian Point and from the other reactors all around the country. So I'm happy to take questions about this.